Hello and welcome to this video that will knock down wrong information on the internet and in books and in articles, especially in those of recent decades, on two subjects. I am Victor Swanson, and I am the best Detroit television historian in the country, and I am certainly one of the best national television historians. Each month, I publish television-related documents on the internet, and those are called Television History and Trivia Documents. The document for June 10th, 2023 has a section about Dilemma, a television series of the 1950s. I talked about the series in the document because I had come across a video on YouTube that had wrong information about the series, and that video is called Dilemma, DuMont Network TV Show 1953. I reported in my document that the series was not a DuMont Television Network series, as the video pushes out, and that it was a syndicated production. Before I published Television History and Trivia number 230 in June 2023, I had found some fun information. The series was made in Fort Wayne, Indiana, and instrumental in putting the series together was Richard Galbreath, who had a film studio in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Ultimately, I was able to report in my document that the main female performer in the video is probably a woman named Bette McMullin. You have been seeing images of the main female performer from Dilemma, particularly the episode called The Woman Who Knew Too Much. The production is a top-notch film. The Woman Who Knew Too Much is the only episode of the series that seems to be available to the public today. By the way, in essence, the history of the production begins in about 1952. I think Bette McMullin is the actress in the filmed product, because the woman in the video looks like Bette McMullin, who appeared in a play called A Chicken in Every Pot during the 1951-1952 season of the Fort Wayne Civic Theatre of Fort Wayne, Indiana. That brings me to another point, and that point is the dilemma about when the DuMont Television Network ended. In June 2023, I was well aware the DuMont Television Network did not die in 1956, or 1957, especially in 1956, which is the date that is often reported to be the end date. I sent correct information about the end of the network to various entities so that the staffers at those entities could make changes to their history presentations, and I got no responses. That is why this video exists. The DuMont Television Network was dissolved by the parent company, the Allen B. DuMont Laboratories, for September 15, 1955. That is when television operations that were underway were switched from network status to local status only, involving two television stations, one of which was WABD-TV in New York City. At that time, in 1955, it was set up so that the two stations might share some programming through a co-op basis, if wished, but the network was done on September 15, 1955. A few weeks later, and it was yet 1955, a spin-off company from the Allen B. DuMont Laboratories was officially launched, and it was called the DuMont Broadcasting Corporation. And, for instance, it began to operate two television stations, WABD-TV and WTTG-TV, and it would not operate a network, especially anything called the DuMont Television Network. Incidentally, you have been seeing a page from Broadcasting Telecasting magazine for October 10, 1955, and it shows one piece of information that proves the DuMont Television Network never existed in 1956 or 1957. Here is a close-up of the information. While you look at the small paragraph, I have to note that any television show that had started out on the DuMont Television Network and was yet running after the network had been discontinued could no longer be classified as a network show and had to be classified as a local show. I believe many people who have decided that the end date for the network was in 1956 have deduced that that was when the last show originally belonging to the DuMont Television Network was shut down. Consider this. Some people probably have deduced that Dilemma was a DuMont Television Network program because it aired on television stations affiliated with the DuMont Television Network in some way in the 1950s. And that solves two past dilemmas, one about the end of the DuMont Television Network and one about the syndicated television series of about 1953 called Dilemma. And I have presented information that shows a gal named Bette McMullin seems to have been the main performer in the episode of Dilemma called The Girl Who Knew Too Much.